listen up, because what I'm about to share with you can change the entire trajectory of your relationships, your confidence, and your success as a man. See, too many men are walking around wondering why they're not getting the respect, the admiration, and the loyalty they crave from women. And the truth is, it's not because women have changed, it's because men have lowered their standards. A real man operates by principles. A real man doesn't let his emotions control him, doesn't beg for validation, and doesn't compromise his integrity just to please somebody else. And if you're out here making these 6 mistakes, it's time to fix them now. A man who begs for a woman's attention is a man who is already lost. The moment you start chasing, pleading, or constantly seeking validation, you send a silent message that you believe she is more valuable than you. And when you do that, she will begin to believe it too. Women are naturally drawn to men who operate from a position of strength, confidence, and certainty, but when you put her on a pedestal and make her the center of your world, you lower your own worth in the process. The truth is, attention should be given freely, not forced. If a woman is truly interested in you, she will show it. She will call, she will text, she will make an effort to be around you. But the moment you start running after her, constantly initiating and making excuses for her lack of effort, you are positioning yourself as a man who needs her more than she needs you, and that is a dangerous place to be. A woman should add to your life, not be the thing that defines your value as a man. A man who understands his worth never begs. He doesn't sit around waiting for a woman to acknowledge him because he is too busy working on himself, building his empire, and walking in his purpose. His time is valuable. His energy is reserved for things that push him forward. He knows that any woman who fails to recognize his greatness is simply not meant to be part of his journey. And instead of chasing after her, he continues on his path, knowing that the right woman will recognize his value without him having to prove it. When you beg for attention, you give away your power. You make yourself dependent on her response, her validation, and her approval. And the moment she realizes this, she will begin to lose respect for you. Women respect men who are in control of themselves, not men who are emotionally desperate. The more you seek her out, the more she will pull away. The more you try to win her over, the less attractive you become. Attraction is built on mystery, confidence, and purpose, not on desperation. Many men fall into the trap of thinking that if they just try harder, if they just prove how much they care, if they just stay persistent, eventually she will reciprocate. But that is not how it works. Women are not drawn to effort, they are drawn to value. And the men who hold the most value are the ones who do not need external validation to feel complete. They are the ones who know their worth and refuse to settle for anything less than mutual effort and appreciation. The reality is, if she is not giving you attention, it is because she does not want to, and that is okay. You cannot convince someone to want you. You cannot force someone to care. And the more you try, the more you diminish your own value. A man who respects himself does not chase after things that are not meant for him. He simply moves on, knowing that what is truly his will come effortlessly without him having to beg for it. When you stop begging, something incredible happens. You regain control over your own life. Instead of wasting time trying to get the attention of a woman who is uninterested, you redirect that energy into yourself. You start focusing on your goals, your health, your finances, your mission. And as you do this, you naturally become more attractive, not just to women, but to opportunities, success, and a better future. Women admire men who are focused, who have ambition, who carry themselves with confidence. And when you embody those qualities, you will never have to chase The most powerful position a man can be in is one of self-respect. When you respect yourself, others will follow suit. Women will see you differently. They will recognize your confidence, your purpose, and your unwillingness to settle for anything less than what you deserve. And the moment you embrace that mindset, you will never have to beg for attention again, because the right people will gravitate toward you naturally. A man's purpose is his foundation. It is the very thing that gives him direction, discipline, and a reason to wake up every morning with fire in his soul. When a man knows his mission, he moves differently. He walks with confidence, speaks with authority, and operates with a sense of certainty that is impossible to ignore. But the moment he shifts his focus from his purpose to a woman, he starts to lose himself. He starts making decisions based on emotions instead of principles, and before he knows it, he is no longer the leader of his own life. A woman can be a great source of inspiration, but she should never become the main priority over the vision you've been given. Too many men make the mistake of centering their entire existence around a woman, thinking that if they just give her all their time, all their energy, and all their attention, she will love them more. But the truth is, the more you abandon your purpose for her, the less attractive you become. Women may say they want a man who prioritizes them above everything, but deep down, they respect a man who is disciplined, driven, and committed to something greater than just a relationship. When a man places a woman above his purpose, he becomes needy. He becomes overly available, constantly seeking her approval and always adjusting his life to fit around her. This not only weakens his presence, but it also creates an imbalance in the relationship. No woman wants to feel like she is carrying the entire weight of a man's happiness on her shoulders. She wants to be part of his life, but she does not want to be his life. A man with no clear direction becomes a burden, not a leader. A strong man understands that his purpose is what gives him value. His ability to stay focused, remain disciplined, and continue growing is what makes him a high-value man. Women are naturally drawn to men who are ambitious, men who have goals, men who are building something meaningful. When you sacrifice your purpose to cater to a woman, you are sacrificing the very thing that made you attractive in the first place. The moment you start prioritizing her over your vision, you start losing the very essence of what makes you a man. Every successful man in history has had to make sacrifices for his mission. He had to say no to distractions, no to unnecessary drama, and no to anything that pulled him away from his goals. A man who understands this does not allow his emotions to dictate his priorities. He does not let a woman's temporary needs override his long-term success. He sets the standard, and she either aligns with his mission or she doesn't. But under no circumstances does he ever put her above the path he was born to walk. Many men confuse love with submission. They believe that to love a woman means to give up everything for her, to compromise their dreams just to make her happy. But real love does not require a man to lose himself. A real woman will never ask you to abandon your mission. She will respect you more when she sees you standing firm in your vision. The men who stay true to their calling are the ones who attract women who genuinely admire and support them. When a man prioritizes his purpose, he naturally commands respect. He does not have to demand it, beg for it, or manipulate his way into a woman's heart. His actions speak louder than words. His consistency, his discipline, and his relentless pursuit of greatness make it clear that he is a man of value. And when a man operates from a position of value, the right woman will willingly follow his lead. She will see that he is going somewhere, and she will want to be part of that journey, not as his leader, but as his supporter. The greatest tragedy a man can experience is looking back on his life and realizing he abandoned his dreams for a temporary relationship that didn't last. Women can come and go, but your purpose is what defines your legacy. A man who remains committed to his mission will never have to chase love, validation, or attention, because everything he desires will come to him naturally as a byproduct of him walking in his God-given purpose. Respect is not something you ask for, it's something you command. A man who tolerates disrespect from a woman is a man who has already lost control of the relationship. The moment you allow even the smallest act of disrespect to slide, you set a dangerous precedent. You teach her that she can push your boundaries, test your patience, and disregard your standards without any consequences. And once that door is opened, it will never close on its own. Women test men to see where their limits are. It's not always intentional, but it's a natural part of human nature. If she raises her voice at you and you let it slide, next time she'll go further. If she disrespects you in public and you laugh it off, next time she'll push the line even more. Every time you allow a small act of disrespect, it grows, and eventually you'll find yourself in a position where you no longer recognize the man in the mirror because you've slowly allowed your standards to be broken down. A woman will never truly respect a man she can walk all over. She may stay with him out of convenience, out of habit, or even out of a sense of control, but deep down she does not admire him. And admiration is the foundation of any healthy relationship. Without it, the relationship will turn toxic, filled with resentment, frustration, and emotional distance. She may still be physically present, but emotionally, she will have already checked out. Disrespect comes in many forms. It can be as direct as insults, belittling, or public embarrassment, or it can be subtle, ignoring your boundaries, dismissing your opinions, or constantly making you feel like you're not enough. No matter how it appears, the effect is the same. It erodes your confidence, weakens your position, and drains your energy. A man who allows this treatment becomes a shadow of himself, constantly trying to please someone who no longer values him. When you tolerate disrespect, you are signaling to the world that you do not value yourself. And if you don't value yourself, no one else will either. Women follow a man's lead consciously or subconsciously. If you carry yourself with dignity, if you demand respect through your actions, and if you walk away when necessary, she will respect you. But if you constantly tolerate poor treatment, you will find yourself in a never-ending cycle of frustration and disappointment. Many men fear standing up for themselves because they don't want to lose the relationship. They believe that by being patient, understanding, or overly forgiving, they can fix the situation. But in reality, the more you tolerate, the worse it gets. Women don't respect weakness, and tolerance for disrespect is the ultimate sign of weakness. The strongest men are the ones who are willing to walk away the moment they realize they are not being treated with honor. A man's time, energy, and peace of mind are priceless. Allowing a woman to rob you of those things through constant disrespect is one of the greatest mistakes you can make. You must be willing to set boundaries and enforce them. Not through anger, not through emotional outbursts, but through decisive action. A man who truly respects himself does not argue, does not beg, and does not tolerate anything that lowers his value. He simply removes himself from situations that no longer align with his standards. Women admire strength, certainty, and self-respect. The moment she sees that you are not a man who bends, a man who compromises his worth, or a man who allows himself to be walked over, her entire demeanor will change. She will either rise to meet your standards or she will walk away. Either way, you win. Because a man who values himself will always attract the right people and remove the wrong ones. A man's role in a relationship is to lead, protect, and provide, not to be a therapist, savior, or emotional punching bag. Too many men make the mistake of thinking they can fix a broken woman, heal her wounds, and carry the weight of her past trauma on their shoulders. They believe that if they just love her enough, if they just show her patience, if they just prove they're different from the men who hurt her, she will finally change. But This mindset is not only dangerous, it's a trap. Because the truth is, only she can fix herself, and no amount of effort on your part will make a difference until she decides to heal. A broken woman will drain you faster than anything else in life. She may not do it on purpose, but that doesn't change the outcome. She comes with emotional baggage, trust issues, and wounds that were never properly dealt with. At first, you may think you're helping her by being patient, understanding, and constantly reassuring her, but over time, you will realize that no matter how much love you give, it will never be enough. The void inside her cannot be filled by you. It must be filled by her own decision to grow, heal, and take responsibility for her own life. Many men confuse compassion with obligation. They feel sorry for a woman who has been hurt, and instead of maintaining their own standards, they lower them to accommodate her brokenness. They accept the emotional roller coaster, the outbursts, the hot and cold behavior, because they believe it's their job to prove that not all men are bad. But a relationship should not be about proving yourself. It should be about two whole people coming together to build something stronger. If she has not done the work to heal, the relationship will not be built on stability. It will be built on chaos. One of the biggest dangers of trying to fix a broken woman is that you will slowly lose yourself in the process. You will pour your energy into trying to make her happy, only to realize that she is never fully satisfied. You will sacrifice your peace of mind, your focus, and even your self-respect, trying to be everything she needs. And the worst part, she may eventually leave you for a man who never tolerated her brokenness in the first place. Because deep down, women do not respect men who allow themselves to be used as emotional crutches. A woman who has not healed will sabotage a good relationship without even realizing it. She will project her past pain onto you, accuse you of things you never did, and push you away just to see if you'll chase her. If you stay, she will test you further and the cycle will repeat. No matter how much you try to reassure her, she will always find a reason to doubt you. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because she never dealt with the men who did. And until she takes responsibility for her own healing, no relationship will ever feel safe to her. A healthy relationship requires two people who are emotionally stable, mentally strong, and willing to grow together. It is not one person dragging the other along, constantly trying to hold things together while the other falls apart. If a woman has been through pain that is not your responsibility to fix, it is her responsibility to acknowledge it, work through it, and come to you as a whole woman, not a broken one, looking for someone to clean up the mess. There is a difference between supporting a woman and carrying her. Support means encouraging her to be her best self while still maintaining your own boundaries and standards. Carrying her means taking on all of her issues at the expense of your own well-being. A man who respects himself knows the difference. He does not tolerate constant emotional instability, manipulation, or self-sabotage disguised as love. He knows that his peace is just as valuable as his strength, and he refuses to let it be destroyed by someone who refuses to heal. A broken woman will either rise to meet your standards or she will fall away. But under no circumstances should you ever compromise your peace, your purpose, or your self-respect in an attempt to fix someone who is not willing to fix themselves. A man who understands this does not settle for brokenness. He requires wholeness. And if she is not willing to do the work, he does not try to do it for her. Lust is one of the most dangerous traps a man can fall into. It clouds judgment, blinds reason, and causes even the strongest men to make foolish decisions that cost them everything. Throughout history, great leaders, powerful kings, and influential men have lost their kingdoms, their wealth, and their legacy because they allowed lust to dictate their actions. What starts as an innocent attraction can quickly turn into an obsession, and before a man realizes it, he has sacrificed his integrity, his purpose, and his future for a temporary moment of pleasure. A man who is controlled by lust is a man who is easily manipulated. He becomes predictable, impulsive, and weak in the presence of temptation. Women can sense when a man is desperate for physical validation, and many will use that to their advantage. When a man allows his desires to lead him, he becomes a slave to them. He stops thinking strategically, he makes reckless choices, and he justifies bad behavior because he is chasing a feeling instead of a purpose. Lust has no logic, no foresight, and no discipline. It only seeks immediate gratification regardless of the long-term consequences. Many men confuse lust with power, thinking that the ability to attract multiple women or engage in constant physical encounters makes them more of a man. But true power is found in self-control, in the ability to say no to temporary pleasure in pursuit of a greater purpose. A disciplined man is a dangerous man because he cannot be easily swayed by temptation. He is not moved by a woman's looks, her body, or her attention. He remains focused, knowing that a moment of weakness can lead to a lifetime of regret. Lust doesn't just affect relationships, it affects every area of a man's life. It can drain his time, his energy, and his resources. A man who chases women relentlessly will always be distracted from his goals. He will spend his nights in pursuit of pleasure instead of progress.